Interesting. All right, there you go. Thank you. Have a good weekend, ma'am. I'm going to move my stuff out of your way. How does he do this with? Good morning, I'm Judge Bigney. I'm going to be doing first appearances this morning. And we moved up some of the felonies, is my understanding. Can I get appearance for state defense and corrections, please?
Lorraine DeLong for the state.
Tyler Brands on behalf of the Office of Public Defender.
All right, thank you both. And if you are here as a, do we have anybody testifying today? Any witnesses? Okay. All right, I'll just wait for them to. I'll do one by one. There's not that many people. All right, whenever you're ready, officers. Good morning, sir. Can you please tell me your name?
Derek Sparrow.
Mr. Sparrow, you're here for a charge of domestic violence battery. This is a misdemeanor offense. Sir, I'm going to appoint a public defender to assist you at this time. Is there anybody here on Mr. Sparrow's case? If so, go ahead and go into the box. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about that button. Good morning, ma'am. Go ahead and raise your right hand. I'll have you sworn in by the trial clerk.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name for the record.
Adriana?
Is your last name Burke?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Burke, how do you know Mr. Sparrow?
He's my boyfriend.
Okay, and do you live together?
Yes.
Do you have any children in common?
No.
Are you in fear of your safety?
No.
And do you want him to return home, or do you want him to live elsewhere while while this case goes on?
I'll come home.
You want him to come home?
Yes, ma'am.
Were drugs or alcohol a factor in this?
No.
And does he have any weapons in the home?
No.
State, any questions for this witness?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Defense, any questions for this witness?
No questions, Your Honor.
In state and corrections, I see he has no priors, correct?
Correct.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and release Mr. Sparrow on $500 bond. Sir, you're to have no hostile contact with Ms. Burke. Even though drugs and alcohol were not a factor, you're not allowed to possess, use, or consume any drugs. You're not allowed to have any weapons. If you do have any firearms must be surrendered to the police department within 12 hours of your release from Orange County Jail. Turn them over to law enforcement. Ms. Burke, do you have any questions for me?
No.
So I have ordered no hostile contact, and he does have a bond with the conditions. Good luck to you, ma'am. Take care.
Your Honor, he did qualify for pretrial
You
release.
did qualify for PTR?
Yes, Your Honor.
You know what, I'm going to modify. I'll put him on pretrial release. So he does not have to post a monetary bond, but you will need to check in once a month or more. He appointed. PD's office, it's been a little bit since I've been at BRC. Do you want me to uniformly appoint or ask him if they want a PD, if they have monetary bond?
I've been used to just uniform appointments, so that's fine. I appreciate it, Your Honor.
Deborah Thomas. Who's that?
Thomas is not my name. I don't know no Thomas.
Okay, good morning.
Thomas, a damn man that Thomas.
Jane Doe, got it. Good morning, how are you? I'm Judge Bigney. I'm going to talk to you about your case. What is your name?
Who is Thomas?
What's your name?
I don't know no man named Thomas. Who is he? What he look like? How old is he?
What's your name?
What he got to go on get? Who is
What are we showing on the tag?
he got too much want Thomas. I don't know no Thomas.
All right, so here's what I'm gonna
It's
do.
Thompson. See, I told you I'm BS on you.
Okay, Miss Thompson, sorry for mispronouncing your name. I'm gonna have a lawyer help you with your case. I'm gonna go ahead and do mental health PTR if you qualify. I need this person ID'd and fingerprinted. If the defendant does not qualify for mental health pretrial release, I want them brought back up on Tuesday. What's the date? What, today's Friday?
She was fingerprinting, Your Honor. That's, it came back as Deborah.
And I got a divorce from Thompson. I'm divorced from Thompson. I never knew I damn Thomas. My name is Deborah Joyce Heights.
We'll do
I'm
mental health
divorced.
PTR if defendant qualifies, and I'm gonna go ahead and roll this case to Monday if defendant does not qualify. Thank you.
So mental health PTR, if they don't qualify, then reset from
Reset for first appearance, for bond modification on Monday.
Monday. Okay.
Next person is Nadine McCall. I forgot to scan.
So in that order, I'm gonna put mental health pretrial release disqualified, and then I'm gonna put.
He refused court, Your Honor. McCall refused.
Qualified, and I'll put release.
Gotcha. Okay. On Nadine McCall, case number 2021 MM 3976, defendant has a trespass charge. I do find probable cause, and based on the defendant's history, I'll appoint the public defender set at 500. Are you waiving defendant's appearance?
Well, waive the appearance, yes, but there is a pending offer from the state. I wonder if we can reset it to have the defendant perhaps show up maybe tomorrow or Monday to perhaps resolve this.
We'll reset it to tomorrow.
I trust the weekend staff to handle it.
Yeah,
so you can reset it.
it's gonna be Judge Wooten over the weekend, so,
That's
all right, go ahead. Is it a time served offer?
It's an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and no return, I believe, to the.
Okay, go ahead and roll this case to tomorrow for possible plea and first appearance.
Thank
But
you.
I'll stay the bond at 500.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And corrections, you still get all these back, or do I keep it with the paperwork?
Oh, you,
Thank you. Anthony Alberon, is that your name?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. You're here for a couple of different cases. Let me go ahead and go through them. You have case numbers 2020 CF 1730 from Osceola County, 2020 CF 1830 and 3454 out of Osceola County. Because you failed to appear, you have a bond. I'm going to stay all the bonds. I'll appoint, do you want a public defender to help you?
Yes, Your Honor, they're supposed to consolidate. I've been speaking to the Veterans Court.
Okay.
They're supposed to consolidate. I spoke to them last week, and they're supposed to consolidate, and they gave me one from my.
Well, there may have been a miscommunication. Your attorney will be able to help you, but you do have those bonds, and I'll stay the bonds.
And Your Honor, I am showing a status hearing on 6/14 for all three of these cases.
Okay, hopefully they'll transport him to, somebody will do a motion to release him from Orange County, and he'll be transported.
Your Honor, are you taking action or are you revoking the out of bond?
On the ROR, I'm going to take no action. I'm taking no action on the RORs, but I'm staying the bond on the FTA.
Okay.
And it is, Your Honor, it is confirmed. I looked at our notes. He is in vet court for those.
Yeah, that's why I just took no action.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. What is your name?
Abercrombie, ma'am.
Mr. Abercrombie, you're here for city ordinance violations.
Yes.
I do find that there's probable cause for the disorderly conduct and the state misdemeanor violation equivalent to resisting officer without violence.
Yes, ma'am.
Your total bond is $350. If you would like to resolve these cases today, I would accept your plea. I see that you do have a history. I would adjudicate you guilty, impose a time-served offer, and you'd owe court costs payable no later than December 31st of 2021. Do you need a public defender to help you with your case? It's a lawyer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, please. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I would like.
Counsel, does he want to accept the time-served offer? Do you need a moment to confer?
Just a moment to confer, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, due to there being a victim in this case, the state did not convey.
This is a MO case,
Correct. Okay,
but it's a city ordinance case.
understood. Sometimes the state makes offers on them.
Oh, they do? Okay. It's a disorderly, so,
But there was a victim in the case that.
officer?
It sounded like there was
You know what? Hold on a second.
kind of a scuffle.
It's so strange. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and revoke my offer. I'm going to stay the bond. The bond total is going to be as listed, no return to the scene of the crime. Thank you, State, for bringing that to my attention.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Your name, please?
Roberto Olivares.
Mr. Olivares, you're here in case number 2021MO680AO. You have credit for 2 days' time served. State any objection to an adjudication time served offer?
No, Your Honor. In fact, state would not object to a withhold in this.
Okay,
May I have a moment to confer with Mr. Olivares?
Yes.
I didn't have a chance in the back.
of course. If they play out now, I wouldn't have to save them the money.
I've had a, go ahead. I had a chance to speak with Mr. Olivares, Your Honor, and he would like to enter a plea. I also spoke about the citizenship and probationary issues as a result of entering a plea, and he still agreed to enter a plea today.
All right, thank you. Mr. Olivares, can you tell me your full name?
My name is Roberto Olivares.
And are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medicine that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No, ma'am.
Can you understand the English language?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Olivares, do you know what guilty, no contest, and not guilty mean?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to the charge of disorderly conduct?
No contest.
Did anybody force you to say no contest?
No, ma'am.
You understand you're giving up your right to trial?
Yes, ma'am.
If you were on probation at the time you committed this offense, do you understand your probation would be violated?
Correct, ma'am.
If you're not a United States citizen, do you understand you will be subject to deportation by pleading to these charges?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a criminal history of doing anything sexually violent or anything sexually motivated, under the laws of the state, you would be civilly committed by pleading to this charge.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you need any more time to talk to a lawyer?
No, ma'am.
I'll accept your plea of no contest. I'll withhold adjudication, give you credit for time served. You do owe court costs. That will be due on or before December 31st of 2021. I also believe you have reporting requirements. Corrections, is that right?
Correct, Your Honor.
You have to report for sex offender probation and disclose this within 2 business days. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence. Your case is over and you'll be released.
And if not appointed, Your Honor, I spoke to Mr. Olivares as a friend of the court.
Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Theodore Leal, Spanish interpreter. The interpreter has already been sworn, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And for the record, this is Judge Bigney at first appearances at BRC Courtroom 1. Good morning, ma'am. Can you please tell me what your name is?
Marta Jimenez.
Marta Jimenez.
And Mr. Interpreter, I do have a witness in the box, so we're going to need to do some broadcasting as well.
Understood, Your Honor.
Sir, do you need an interpreter?
Señor, ¿usted necesita la ayuda de un intérprete?
Well, maybe yes. Yes, I want to.
Well, maybe yes.
No.
Sir, please raise your right hand. I'll have you sworn in.
Levante la mano derecha para que preste juramento.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
¿Jura afirma que el testimonio que da será la verdad y toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad? ¿Lo jura ante Dios?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name for the record.
Luis Oviedo.
Luis Oliveira. Mr. Oliveira, please put your hand down. Sir, how old are you?
17.
¿Qué edad tiene usted?
And I'm just going to ask that you respond back in Spanish, and he'll do the interpreting for me, okay?
Okay.
Que lo diga en español para que se pueda hacer la traducción para el juez y también para la acusada.
Who brought you here today?
Lo trajo usted el día de hoy.
Bueno, yo llamé ayer a la policía y a mí me gustaría, pues, yo siento que cometí un error y me gustaría retirar los cargos en contra de mi mamá.
Slow down, please. Okay.
Yes, I called the police yesterday, and I would like to do is withdraw the charges against my mother. I know I made a mistake.
Who drove you here today?
¿Quién lo trajo hasta aquí?
El novio de mi mamá.
My mother's boyfriend.
State, do you have any questions for this minor, the victim of the crime?
Fiscal, ¿tiene usted una pregunta para este menor, presunta víctima del delito?
No, Your Honor.
No, su señoría.
State, what's your position on bond on count 1?
Fiscal, ¿cuál es la postura suya en cuanto al pago de fianza en el cargo número 1?
State would have no objection to a lower reasonable bond.
La fiscal.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Interpreter.
No problem. La fiscalía no tiene ninguna objeción a que se reduzca la fianza a una cantidad razonable.
And there's very little history, no history.
Tomando en cuenta que no tiene antecedentes penales.
Luis, who else lives in the home with you?
¿Quién más vive en casa con usted?
El novio de mi mamá y yo.
My mother, myself, my mother's boyfriend.
And how long has your mother's boyfriend lived with you?
¿Y qué edad tiene el novio o su hermana que vive con usted?
Unos 5 meses.
About 5 months.
Do you feel safe living where you're at?
Yes.
¿Usted se siente protegido en el lugar donde está?
Sí.
Sí.
Ms. Jimenez, I'm going to put you on monetary bond of $1,000 plus pretrial release.
Your Honor.
Entonces lo que voy a hacer es que voy a imponerle un pago de fianza, va a ser de $1,000 y se le otorgará la libertad provisional.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. Per the admin order, the child abuse charge wouldn't qualify for PTR.
Not even with bond?
Entonces si le pago cuenta del abuso de menor, sí señor.
Unless you do aggravated battery PTR and child abuse bond, but child abuse cannot be on PTR.
No, it was on count 1.
On count 1.
I'm doing the $1,000 bond plus pretrial release.
Sí, el cargo número 1 sí se le va a otorgar la fianza, más también se le va a conceder la libertad provisional.
I'm going to stay the bond on count 2.
Iba a decir la fianza del cargo número 2.
Ms. Jimenez, because Spanish is your first language, I will appoint a lawyer from the Public Defender's Office.
Señora Jiménez, como usted habla español, voy a designarle un abogado de habla hispana de la Defensoría Pública.
You are to have no hostile contact with your son. You can't do anything to harm, threaten, or hurt him.
Así que a usted se le prohíbe que tenga contacto de tipo hostil con su hijo, o sea, que sea un trato donde no hayan amenazas, donde no haya daño, donde no haya injuria.
You are also not allowed to possess any weapons.
Y también se le prohíbe porte o tenencia de armas.
If there are any firearms in the home, they need to be surrendered to the police department within 12 hours of your release.
Y si acaso hay algún tipo de armas en la casa, tiene que ser entregada a las autoridades a las 12 horas de su liberación.
Thank you. Your total bond is $2,000 plus pretrial release.
Así que,
Mr. Olivares, do you have any questions for me?
Sí. Yo dije que me gustaría como quitar los charges porque yo siento que cometí un error. Eso fue un problema de familia que se pudo haber resolvido en la casa. Llamar a la policía no fue la mejor opción que tuve. Yo no me siento amenazado en la casa, ella es mi mamá y yo la amo, entonces no quiero que esto llegue a más. O sea,
un momento. Primero para la señora Jiménez van a ser $2,000 más el pago de libertad provisional. Señor Olivares, ¿algo más que quiere decir? Bueno, yo lo que quiero hacer es que se retiren los cargos. Yo cometí un error, fue un problema familiar, fue una cosa que se pudo haber resuelto dentro del mismo seno familiar. Yo llamé a la policía, eso fue mi error, pero yo no me siento en ningún momento amenazado. So I do not feel threatened being home. I know I called the police. I know it was a mistake that I made. It was a problem that I could have very well been resolved within the home. And that's why I would like to withdraw any type of charges.
I can't do anything to dismiss the charges at this time. Ultimately, the state attorney's office, not the judge, makes the decision on whether or not to charge a crime.
Sí, bueno, es que a estas alturas ya no se puede hacer eso. Ya ni siquiera el juez, o la juez, mejor dicho, ya tiene la autoridad de poder retirar los cargos en el momento. Esto ya ahora queda en manos de la Fiscalía, del Ministerio Público, y es el Ministerio Público quien decide si se van a presentar los cargos o no.
The case is over. Thank you for talking to me today and demonstrating such maturity.
Así que con eso concluye este caso por el día de hoy. Gracias por hablar conmigo y demostrar su alto grado de madurez.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Raul Moorhead, 2021 MM 38, I'm sorry, strike that, 3981. Good morning, sir. Please tell me your name. Raul Ortiz, rather.
Raúl Ortiz.
Raúl Ortiz.
Sir, you're here for 2 counts, trespass on property after warning, as well as criminal mischief. I find probable cause for both of these offenses. Do you want a public defender that's a lawyer to help you with your case?
No sé, porque ahora mismo yo lo que pasa es, le voy a explicar lo que pasó. Yo lo que pasa es que yo fui a casa de mi hermano.
No, but I can very well explain to you what happened. I mean, I went to the house and...
At this time, I'm not going to take an explanation. I do find probable cause. My question for you is, do you want a lawyer? I'll point one based on English being foreign to you.
No quiero hablar, quiero un abogado y ya no quiero hablar más nada.
Okay, I don't want to say anything. I do want an attorney.
All right, I'll give you an attorney on count 1. I'll modify the bond to subsidiary bond at $100. I'll stay the bond on the criminal mischief. No return to 1841 Moorhead.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. How much is the bond? Sorry.
On the trespass, I'll modify the bond to $100. I'll stay the bond on count 2 at $500.
Cargo, el primer,
No return to the scene of the crime. Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Luis Omar Cruz Avila.
Luis Omar Cruz Avila.
Mr. Cruz Avila, I'm going to appoint a public defender, that's a lawyer, since English is a second language, since English is a foreign language to you. I find probable cause for the following offenses: possession of fentanyl, count 1, possession of cocaine, count 2, possession of drug paraphernalia, count 3, and finally count 4, petty theft. On count 1, I will stay the bond. On count 2, I will modify it to 150. On count 3 and counts 4, I'll also modify that to $100. Your new bond total is $1,350. I'm also ordering no return to the scene of the crime. Good luck to you, Mr. Cruz Avila.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Mr. Cruz Avila's case number?
Sure, it's 2021 CF 6877.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next case number is 2017 CF 4782 AO. Sir, please tell me your name.
Velázquez Pérez.
Velázquez Pérez.
I'm going to appoint a public defender if you do not have one already. Sir, you did not appear for court for your 5 different charges of leaving the scene of a crash with serious bodily injury, driving under the influence with serious bodily injury, leaving the scene of a crash with injuries, no driving without a valid license, and reckless driving. You remain at no bond status. Thank you, Mr. Vasquez Perez. You do now have an attorney. Is that everything for the Spanish interpreters?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll go ahead and disconnect. Thank you, Mr. Interpreter. Have a good weekend.
To Your Honor, you're welcome.
Good morning, sir. Can you start by telling me your name?
Sonny Thornton.
A moment. Mr. Thornton, because of the charges, I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender to help you with this case. You're here in case number 2021-6206AO. Count 1, conspiracy to commit armed robbery. Count 2, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Again, I am appointing a public defender in this matter.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I believe this case is, state filed a motion to pretrial detention 10 days ago. At the 5-day mark, the state asked for a continuance because I believe our office withdrew that morning. So we're at, I guess, the second 5-day now.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Your office did what? I couldn't hear
I
what
believe our office withdrew the morning of the first 5 days, at the end of the first 5 days, and state requested a continuance. So now we're at the second 5-day mark for this case.
So, just to be clear, you do have an attorney, correct? Do you want a public defender?
I spoke with Mr. Thornton as a friend of the court. He said he did get something from our office. It may be indicating some,
So State, I have reviewed the order. I'm sorry for interrupting. I did review the order for the reset. Where are we at now? With regards to detention?
Your Honor, if I could have just one moment,
Your Honor, if I may. Okay, I just had another note about,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I think we withdrew due to conflict, so if Mr. Thornton does need representation, I believe you can.
Is there did you file a motion already?
I believe motion to withdraw to chambers on 6/4.
and Your Honor, I am showing that, that we have given discovery documents to Regional Conflict Counsel in this case.
All right, so that's not discovery, but what about his motion for secure detention?
Sorry, Your Honor, I'm trying to find it in our system.
Do you agree that he is now entitled to a bond at this time?
We received the 5-day hold. Then yes, state would leave it up to the court's discretion.
All right, sir, where do you live?
47-2 Boston Common Street.
And how long have you, and is that in Orange County?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you lived there?
All my life.
And do you have a job?
No, ma'am.
All right, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and set a monetary bond on count 1. I'll set that bond at $10,000, no ROR, no PTR, and to be modified by trial division. On count 2, I'll stay the bond. I'm also ordering that you have no contact with any witnesses. Well, wait, give me a second. Let me check something. The state, this is a PBL?
I believe so, Your Honor.
Because it's a conspiracy.
Your Honor, we had this discussion about 10 days ago about whether it was charged under the correct statute. I think it needs to be amended to conspiracy. So there wasn't a PBL on file, but because the state filed a motion for pretrial detention, I think that's what kept him here.
Yeah, I was just double checking and kind of thinking out loud. Okay, I'm gonna stay with my original ruling. I'm gonna set bond at $10,000 on count one, stay the bond on count two. You do have a total monetary bond. It is now, $10,150. You're not to return to the scene of the crime, have contact with no witnesses. You're not to have any contact with co-defendant Russell Teague, and you're not to possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have any, they need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 12 hours of your release. Good luck to you, Mr. Thornton.
Thank you.
And regional conflict will assist you. It's Rocky of me. Sir, what is your name?
Julio Burgos, ma'am.
All right, good morning, Mr. Burgos. Mr. Burgos, you're here in case number 2020 CF 5861AO pursuant to a capias. You do have monetary bonds and probable cause has been found. For the offense of battery, your bond is $100. For the offense of tampering with witness, your bond is $7,500. And on counts 3 and 4, violation of an injunction, counts, 2 counts of that is going to be $100 apiece. You're not to have any contact with the victim. Additionally, you're not to possess any weapons. You can't return to where the victim lives. If you have any weapons, they do need to be surrendered to the police department within 12 hours of your release. I also see that you are on bond in case number 2020 MM 7642. State on this new PC affidavit, what was the date of the offense? If you know.
I believe 6/10, Your Honor.
So since it was subsequent to the first court date, I'm going to hold you at no bond on that misdemeanor offense. Wait, hold on a second. That was give me a moment. That was 2020 case number, so I don't know if that's correct state.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Was it 6/10 of last year? I didn't understand what the noise was. Oh, sorry. So that, the new felony, which had the PC order, that was May 11th of 2020.
The misdemeanor arrest was on November 4th, Your Honor.
Of 2020?
Yes, Your Honor.
So I'll take no action on the misdemeanor offense. Strike the no bond language, please. Thought I got it. Yes, ma'am.
Discount, you reduced it to 100, correct?
No, I stayed it. I stayed all those bonds.
Okay.
Corrections, did you hear me correctly? On count 1, I stayed the bond at 150?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for checking, Denise.
No problem.
Sir, what is your name? I'm sorry, what is it?
Patrick Florence.
State, what's the date that, I can figure this out, 6/1. I'm on Patrick Florence. Is there a witness here for the Patrick Florence case? No, Your Honor. Okay, thank you. Sir, you're here in case number 2021 CF 6860. You face 3 counts: tampering with witness to hinder communication to law enforcement, assault and violation of pretrial release on a domestic violence case. Sir, you're also out on bond in case number 2021 MM 3707AO. I will appoint a public defender to assist you because I'm going to revoke your bond on the battery charge, the misdemeanor offense, and hold you at no bond. As to the new charges, I do find probable cause you are legally entitled to bond. Based on the facts of this case, as well as the fact that you're out on bond and your criminal history, I'll set the following bonds. On count 1, I'm going to set bond at $5,000. Count 2, I'm going to set bond at $100. And count 3, bond will be $100 for a total of $5,200. You're to have no contact with the victim of these cases. You're not to return to the scene of the crime. You must maintain a separate residence, and you're not allowed to have any weapons. Any weapons must be surrendered to the police department within 8 hours of your release from jail. Counsel, anything else on Mr. Florence's case?
Not from the defendant.
All right, thank you. Good morning, ma'am. Can you start by telling me your name?
Alicia Gross.
All right, we're on record on case number 2021 3973. Ma'am, go ahead and raise your right hand. I'll have you sworn in.
Nicole Little.
Oh, I'm sorry, here.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ma'am, go ahead and start by telling me your name.
Nicole Little.
Miss Little, how do you know the defendant?
She's my girlfriend.
Okay, the paperwork says your wife. Is this your girlfriend or your wife?
It's my girlfriend.
And do you live together?
No. We were just on vacation.
Are you in fear of her?
I'm with her.
Okay. I don't know what okay means. Okay is different for everybody. So I'm going to kind of rephrase the question.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Do you want to have contact with Ms.
Oh,
Gross?
yes, absolutely.
Do you have any concerns about your safety when you're with Ms. Gross?
No.
Does Ms. Gross own any weapons?
No.
And were drugs or alcohol involved?
She was drinking a little, but I don't think that might have been why she was getting aggressive. So.
And you're here on vacation?
Yeah, I missed my flight at 6 a.m. and I had to leave the Rose Inn and come here, so.
All right, State, do you have any questions for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
Miss Defense Counsel, I'm going to appoint a public defender, Miss Gross. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
It's a lawyer? Okay, go ahead.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, based on the facts of the case and the statute, I'm not going to put her on pretrial release based on her lack of ties to the community. I'm going to set bond at $2,000. Is that a bond that you think you and Ms. Gross, that you can afford to post? Can
You
post?
can't even fly home.
Okay, I'm going to modify the bond to $1,000. Ms. Gross, you're to have no hostile contact with Ms. Little. You're not allowed to possess any weapons. If you own any weapons, they do need to be surrendered to local law enforcement within 8 hours of your release or your return home. And you're not to possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs. Good luck to you, Ms. Gross. Sir, what is your name?
Jackie Jackson.
Mr. Jackson, you're here for an offense of battery in case number 2021 MM3971. I'll appoint a public defender to assist you with your case. And then I'm also going to address case number 2021 CF4881 AO. Corrections, do you know?
No, he's not on probation for the out on bond case.
Your Honor, he's also on ROR from a 33-day motion granted on 6/2.
Yeah, I just saw that. No charging decision has been made. Still ROR. Thank you for letting me know. I just had to find the probation case. Probation, do you know the case number?
Looks like it's 21 CF 2942.
Thank you.
Welcome. Wait, let me check. Double check. It's 21 CF 2942.
Just close that case.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Gulledge. How you doing today, sir? That's good to hear. So you're here this,
All right, in case number 2021 CF 2942, I'll find the, based on. Is it me? Okay, thank you. Based on the defendant being placed on probation on June 8th, I'm going to go ahead and do an on-view violation of probation. He'll remain at no bond status. In case number 2021 CF 4881AO, state has not made a filing decision. Do you mind if I take no action on that?
That's fine, Your Honor.
No action on that felony case. And in the battery charge, 2021 MM 3971AO, I do find probable cause for that offense. I'm going to set bond at $1,000. No contact with the victim, maintain separate residence, no weapons. Any firearms need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 12 hours. You know, I've never been good at skinning because it doesn't work. The next case is Leandre Kindred. On record on 2021 MM 3968AO. Mr. Kindred, you're here for a defense of battery dating violence. You're to have no contact with the victim. You must maintain a separate residence. You can't go back to where the victim lives or works. You must not possess any weapons. Any firearms need to be surrendered within 8 hours of your release from Orange County Jail. Because of your history and the number of times you failed to appear in the past, I'm going to set bond at $1,500. Do you want a public defender to help you? I'll appoint a public defender since there is a monetary bond. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
so you're here at this time to, do your sanction for testing positive? Let me see if I can get your page again. Okay, I found it. And it appears that was from the positive test that you had on.
State, do you have any? Are you Mary Ann Mayhew?
Yes.
Case number 2021 MM 3974AO. Do you want a public defender that's a lawyer to help you with your case?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Do you want a lawyer to help you with your case?
No.
Okay. Are you going to be able to afford bond? Are you feeling okay, and do you understand what's going on and why you're here?
I don't feel great, no.
Okay, based on her not feeling well, I'm going to appoint a public defender. I'm going to state, do you want to be heard? She is entitled to a bond.
State would leave it in the court's discretion with the exception of the fact that there is a history of violence in her record and some with the same alleged victim.
I saw that. Okay, I'm going to set bond at $1,000. You must maintain a separate residence as the victim. You can't go back to where she lives. You're to have no contact with the victim. I'll allow one-time return so long as you're accompanied by law enforcement. I'm also going to order that you not possess, use, or consume any alcohol or any illegal drugs. You're not allowed to have any weapons. If you have any firearms, they need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 8 hours of your release from jail. Again, you do have a public defender. Good luck to you, ma'am. Oh, that's my name. Lauren Myers is next. I'll appoint a public defender in case number 2021 2021 MM 3985AO. I find probable cause for the charges of violation of pretrial release on a domestic violence injunction and battery. 3-3. And I'm going to set I'm going to set a monetary bond.
By the way- by the
In
way,
count, what?
Your Honor, we waive Ms. Meyer's appearance as well.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
We waive Ms. Meyer's appearance.
Okay, defense counsel waived appearance. I'll give her a bond of $2,000 on count 1, $100 on count 2. No contact with any victims, maintain separate residence, possess no weapons, and any firearms need to be surrendered within 12 hours of release. I see that she is on PTR in 2021, MM 333A. I'm going to revoke pretrial release and sign off on that order now. She'll remain at no bond.
Your Honor, even if, I don't believe it's the same victim, even if it's a different victim, would you still revoke?
Yes, I think that's just as bad. Sir, sorry for the wait. Can you start by telling me what your name is?
Jeffrey Ross Simmons.
Mr. Simmons, you're here for a charge of battery, domestic violence.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you need a lawyer to help you with your charge?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll appoint a public defender to assist you with this case.
Thank you.
You're to have no contact with your wife. You must maintain a separate residence. You cannot go back to where she lives. I'll allow a one-time return as long as you're accompanied by law enforcement. You're not to possess any weapons. Any firearms need to be surrendered within 8 hours of your release from jail. Based on your criminal history and the facts of this case and finding probable cause, I'm going to set your bond at $1,500. Next case number is 2021 MM 3972. Are you Yannick Tanis?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you need a lawyer to help you with your case?
No, ma'am.
Your name, please.
Aaliyah Govin.
I'm sorry, what is it?
Aaliyah Govin.
All right, go ahead, raise your right hand. I'll have you sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record.
Aaliyah Govin.
And your age, ma'am?
21.
How do you know Miss Tanis?
My girlfriend.
Do you live, you're the girlfriend you said?
Yeah.
Do you live together?
No.
Are you in fear of Miss Tanis?
No.
Do you want to have contact?
Yes.
Were drugs or alcohol involved in this?
No.
State or defense, state any questions for Miss Tanis?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, you are entitled to a bond based on the facts of this case plus your history. I'm going to set bond at $1,000.
Okay.
Ms. Tanis, I'm going to order that you have no hostile contact with Ms. Galvin, and you must maintain a separate residence. You're not allowed to possess any weapons. If you own any firearms, they do need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 12 hours of your release. Do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
Okay, do you have any questions for me?
No.
Will you be able to afford that $1,000 bond?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I'm going to take this case, and then I need to step off the bench for just a moment. Are you Sean Dugan?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Dugan, you're here in case number 2021 CT 3208AO. You're here because you failed to appear for a charge of driving with license suspended with knowledge Do you need a lawyer if you don't have one already?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender, Mr. Dugan. Give me just a moment. Defense, because this is a county court case, I'm inclined to make a plea offer on this case, so give me a moment to look this up.
At this time, ma'am, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty of the offense, order that you serve, excuse me, order that you serve 300.
Denise, what's the time served on this? 3:80.
Will be given credit time served in the amount of 149 days. Does that sound correct to you? All right. You're ordered to pay any remaining fines and court costs, and you'll be required to pay that at the rate of no less than $10 per month.
If you would like to resolve this case today, the offer would be an adjudication in 5 days in the county jail with credit for 3 days' time served, likely being released tomorrow. But this is an enhanceable offense. This would be the second guilty. I'll give you a moment to confer with your client.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I need a brief recess.
All right, thank you. You do have a right to appeal. If you wish to appeal, you have to file a written notice of appeal within 30 days of today's date. If you cannot afford an attorney for that appeal, one will be appointed. Do you understand your right to appeal? All right, thank you. Thank you, counsel. Now, all we have today. You too.
All right, we have Mr. Gerard Harp. This is page 6, case number 2018 CF 11018, 2018 CF 11050.
All right, good morning. Ms. Compton. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Hart. How are you doing today? Good morning to you. How are we proceeding, counsel?
Rebecca. She didn't put that on. Her notes is right. I'll pull it out. She only got no weapons, no firearms. You want, okay. Yeah, with her, she write everything on there. Even when she changed it, she marked through it and she write it again. She was here before. She knows.
We can do the plea agreement. We can have him come back and report to the BRC in order to do disposition. Okay. I don't have a problem setting off disposition to give him a chance to attend the services. I'm sorry for your loss, sir.
I mean, I hate to cut in. I don't have a problem with it. I just want to let everybody aware that on the 4th, we did state that all pleas are on the table. We kept rejecting the offer, and it was going back to the bottom of the guidelines, which is 28 months. But hearing what's going on with Mr. R, we'll go along with the previous offer that was made of 10 months. So, just for the record.
Thank you, Scott. You know, it's a plea. If he doesn't show up, it'll be going through today. So we'll make sure to get on the list.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make that clear as well, that if he does not show up on the time certain date for disposition, that the court is not bound by the recommended disposition of the case. So, if Mr. Harvey, we set this for you to come back for sentencing on the June 21st date. If you fail to appear, I'm not bound by this
this 10-month agreement. Do you understand that?
I will be back in.
Okay, all right, just want, is it that we're gonna do it June 21st, or did you, yeah, June 21st is when we're doing it, right? Okay. Sir, if you'll raise your right hand to be placed under oath. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, thank you. Would you say your full name and your date of birth?
5/14/9/11, Gerard Hart.
All right, thank you. And I know you're waiting to make sure you have an agreement with credit time served, Ms. Custom, so I'll wait until that happens before we proceed, if you like.
I can barely hear you. All right, I wasn't sure if you're talking to me or not.
I did email you the credit time served from Mr. Acosta on April 26th, saying 218 days as of today for Gerard
Okay.
Hart. So would you be willing to just stipulate for the 218?
Yeah, I'll do it.
It's only a few days off. I just
Yeah, it's no big deal.
Okay, so in case number 2018 CF 11018AO and 2018 CF 11050AO, Mr. Harper is going to admit that he violated his probation in agreement from the state. It is a downward departure, an adjudication, 10 months Orange County Jail, court costs, 218 days for time served, and a cost of prosecution.
All right, thank you. So you've heard what your attorney presented to the court. Do you agree with that presentation? At this time, you're prepared to enter a plea of admission to violating probation in both of the cases that are before the court today. You understand that by opening this plea, you give up your right to have a hearing and the right to make the state prove that you violated probation. Do you also understand you give up your right to call witnesses in your defense or to confront witnesses who would testify against you? Has anyone forced, threatened, or coerced you to enter the plea? Are you doing this of your own free will? Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medication today? Are you satisfied with the services of your attorney? Have you had an opportunity to read the plea form in its entirety and review it with your attorney? Did you understand the form? On the signature line where it indicates defendant's signature, have you signed there? Let the record reflect he is signing the plea form at this time. Yeah. All right. So do you have any questions or concerns before I accept your plea? And can you tell me your highest level of education today? All right. I'm sorry? Ninth, okay, thank you. All right. I do find that you are alert and intelligent. You understand the nature and consequences of your plea. I accept your plea of admission to violation of probation in both cases, and we will set this matter for disposition or sentencing hearing on June 21st at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. All right, and so remember again to be here on that date on time, or if you fail to appear, the court is not bound by the recommended disposition that's agreed to pursuant to this plea. Anything further, counsel?
The thing is, I didn't put on the record that this will revoke and terminate his probation.
Yes, I'll do that at the time of sentencing. Yes, ma'am. Anything further for today? Anything further this week? Ms. Martha? All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Hart, and you're free to go. And again, I'm sorry for your loss, and we'll see you on June 21st, okay? All right, take care. All right, is that all you said you had at the BRC? So everyone else medical? Okay. Do we have Mr. Carlos Etienne?
Yes, we do. He's gonna need a Spanish interpreter. Not that guy. We don't. By the way,
Jay Thomas needs an interpreter, right?
Yeah. I bring Carlos.
About the offer. We also went over the citizenship and probationary issues as a result of entering a plea, as well as the enhanceability of entering this plea. Just a moment. Your Honor, the only concern that Mr. Dugan has is he does have a job that he would like to show up for today if he is only released tomorrow. As a result of entering the plea, he may also lose his job. So if you would have that, if you would consider that as part of,
State, would you have any
The offer.
objection to me doing time served with an adjudication? This is, he has one withhold DWLs and one prior adjudication.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll do a time served offer on it.
thank you, Your Honor. And as I said, we spoke about the issues of entering a plea today, and he would still like to enter a plea of no contest.
All right, sir, do you have a plea form executed?
Yes, Your Honor, right in front of him.
Mr. Dugan, are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading no contest to the charge of driving with license suspended with knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
And has anybody forced you to say no contest?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to read or understand things?
No, ma'am.
And did you read that paper?
Yes, I did.
Did you sign it?
I have not yet.
Excuse me?
I am now.
Division 16, and the other case will be returned to its original division, number 20. Do you have any questions?
Thank you.
So right in front of me, I do have a signed plea form. You understand that you're giving up your right to trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you were on probation at the time you committed this offense, by pleading today, your probation would be violated?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you will be adjudicated at the time of sentencing. This is a criminal traffic offense. If you commit a future act of driving with license suspended, you will be charged with a felony, face a mandatory 10-day jail sentence, and/or be designated a habitual traffic offender. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, at this time, you're being adjudicated. I'll sentence you to time served. You'll be released on these charges today. You owe court costs and your public defender's fees. I'll give you until December 31st of 2021 to pay that. That resolves your case. Actually, he does have a TR case. Are you familiar with handling those, defense counsel?
Just a moment, Your Honor.
Denise, am I going to throw you for a loop if I do that? In case, he also has case number 2021 TR 571278O for improper sunscreen tint. I'm going to go ahead and dismiss that charge. Is that good with you, defense counsel?
Fine, Your Honor.
Based on the plea to this charge and waive any late fees, case is closed. And I put the case number up here.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm sorry for the wait, ma'am. Can you tell me your name, please? Okay, bonded. In William Perrin, case number 2021 CT 995AW. With COVID, are we just resetting these or? Okay, here's what I'll do. I will, defendant has a $500 bond to be reset for IAs after his medical release.
I could just waive his appearance, Your Honor, if we're appointed. That's usually, because we don't know how long it's going to be until he's out of the hospital.
That way he knows he has a bond. I'll appoint a public defender. That's fine.
But he still has the bond.
Yeah, we'll just waive it, said,
Thank you, Your Honor.
strike through what I said. Case number 20, your name, please?
Marie Roberto.
Ma'am, you're here for a number of charges. In case number 2021 CT 441AO, you failed to appear for a charge for, do you know if you have a public defender? Already?
I had one in Osceola County, but
Ma'am, you're here for a new charge of driving with license suspended with knowledge. This is a criminal offense which occurred back in May. Because you missed your court date, there is this warrant for your arrest, and you'll be held at $500 bond. If you would like to resolve this case today, I would withhold adjudication, impose a time-served sentence plus court cost of $301, and then I would take no action on your Osceola County court cases. Do you want a public defender to explain your Orange County court case to you? Ma'am, without looking at him, do you need a public defender to help you with your case?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll appoint a public defender for your Orange County court case.
I have a moment to confer, Your Honor.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Mona Abraham on behalf of Mr. Brian Richardson. Hi, good morning. Good morning. I didn't know if you wanted to call him next. I heard Richardson mentioned. Yes, we can call him next.
Cannabis, page 11, Your Honor, Brian Richardson, case number 2019 CF 6237, 2020 CF 12860.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Richardson. How are you this morning? I'm good, thank you. Counsel, how are we proceeding? Your Honor, I believe Mr. Richardson will be entering a plea to participate in drug court. This case is a verbal resolution. His cases are 19 CF 6237, as well as 2020 CF 12860. Okay, thank you.
These can just go in the garbage, right? Yes.
Okay, how does this look? You didn't put the case numbers on the drug court agreement, so I wanted to make sure it indicated that. So if you're comfortable, we'll add both of the case numbers to the drug court.
Your Honor, I did speak with Ms. Roberto about the terms of your offer and the repercussions of entering a plea today as far as the enhanceability as well as the citizenship and probationary issues as a result of entering a plea. And I believe Ms. Roberto still wishes to enter a plea of no contest.
Okay, thank you.
Richardson, if you'll raise your right hand for me, sir. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Ma'am, you're here for a charge of driving with license suspended with knowledge. Are you entering a plea of no contest?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand what no contest means?
Yes, ma'am.
Did anybody force you to say no contest?
No, ma'am.
I'm sorry, did you say no?
No one forced me.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Can you ask the question again?
Did anybody force you to say no contest?
No, ma'am.
And in front of you, there's a plea form. Did you read it and understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go ahead and sign it if you agree to it? Do you also understand, Can you read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No, ma'am.
All right, and you understand that you're giving up your right to trial by entering a plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by pleading to these charges?
Yes, ma'am.
If you were on probation at the time you committed this offense by pleading today, your probation would be violated. Do you understand that too?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is a criminal traffic offense. At this time, I'm going to withhold adjudication, but it may have other implications on your driving record. Do you understand that too?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'll go ahead and accept your plea of no contest to this case. You'll be released on this case today. I'll withhold adjudication, impose a time served offer. You owe your public defender fees plus court cost of $301. It is due no later than December 31st of 2021. Ma'am, I'll take no action on your Osceola County Court case as you'll be released in this Orange County Court case today. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I think she's two. Can you tell me your name, please?
Jacob Harrison.
Give me just one moment. Corrections, I have Jancy Alvarado Ferrer. Okay, thank you. Mr. Harrison, sorry for the wait. You're here in case number 2021 MM 39790 for the offense of trespassing on a structure or conveyance. I do find probable cause for this offense. I will go ahead and stay the bond of $500. You're also on felony probation for another offense. Let me find that case. Corrections, is he on probation in 2020 CF 13106?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to treat that as an on-view violation and hold you at no bond on that. That can be modified in the trial division. Because of your no bond status, I'll appoint a public defender. Good luck to you, sir. Sure, 2020 CF 13106 AO. Good morning, sir. Can you start by telling me what your name is?
Marcellus Johnson.
Good morning, Mr. Johnson.
How you doing?
I'm well, sir. Give me a moment.
Your Honor, state's going to be no infoing this case.
Okay, you'll be released on this case. ROR, state has announced a no information open court. Thank you. Perry Kincaid. Good morning. Can you tell me your full name?
Nakari Shimon Perry.
Corrections, who do you have on the, what's the tag showing? I have Perry Kincaid, and then I also have
It's Nakari.
Nakari. Okay, but where's the Perry coming from?
That's my last name.
Oh, so they really did something with this. Sorry for mispronouncing. I just wanted to make sure I'm dealing with the correct person. In case number 2020 CT 1454F, you have a warrant. I've confirmed the same. And you're being held at no bond on that warrant. And then you also have case number 2021 MM3983AO for possession of marijuana. I do find probable cause. Yes, state?
The state was going to no info this one as well.
All right, the state is announcing a no information notice, so you'll be released on that cannabis charge, but you'll remain at no bond for your out-of-county court cases. I'll appoint a public defender for those purposes. Yes. On the Orange County only. Ma'am, can you start by telling me what your name is?
Sivon and Pate.
State, do you know what you're going to do with this paraphernalia charge? Because there's an unrelated hold on another case.
I was actually going to no info this charge as well.
And Your Honor, we would have you take no action on the out on bond case. She has out on a ROR on a 33-day motion as well. No info filed to my knowledge.
Let me look at that history.
Actually, let me just. Right.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions that you have?
No, and information has been filed in that case.
Anything further from council?
Corrections, would she qualify for court-ordered pretrial release with drug testing on the felonies?
Yes, Your Honor, if you order it.
All right, so the state has announced, I'm going to do this correctly, on the 2021 MM3980AO, this court does find probable cause for a criminal offense. State, now you're announcing a no information.
Yes, Your
correct?
Honor.
So I'm going to ROR you in case number 2021 MM3980AO. However, the state has filed an information in case number 2021 CF3215AO, charging you with possession of fentanyl, possession of drug paraphernalia, as well as false identification to a law enforcement officer.
Yes, ma'am.
I will take action on that case on all three counts. I'm doing court-ordered pretrial release. I do find that she violated the conditions of her release.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to order that at your expense, that you be subject to random drug testing. You're not to possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs.
Yes, ma'am.
Your first test date will be 30 days out.
Okay.
And you need to report to pretrial release for that testing.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, you're going to revoke the ROR on that, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Go to pretrial release, and then you'll have testing in 30 days again.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I have two office issues that are coming up, so I just need to forward this out. All right, so are you Keith Revere?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Revere, good morning. I'm sorry for the wait.
Yes.
You're here in case number 2021 MM3975AO for a charge of trespass.
Yes, ma'am.
I do find probable cause. State any objection to an adjudication time served offer with a court order of no return and abide by all trespass orders?
That was actually the offer conveyed.
All right, do you need a defense attorney to help you with this plea?
I did speak with Mr. Revere in the back already about the terms of the plea.
Thank you again, State, for sending out offers beforehand. So what do you want to do with this?
Me, ma'am?
Do you want to plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you need any more time to talk to a lawyer?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Revere, are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No, ma'am.
Can you read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you fill out a plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead and sign it if you agree to it. Thank you, counsels.
Of course, Your Honor.
Sure.
Are we appointed, Your Honor, or did I speak to Mr. Revere as a friend of the court?
You can speak, actually, strike that.
Save
Speak to
them.
him as a friend of the court, if you're okay with that, and your office is.
Yes.
If you were on probation at the time you committed this offense, do you understand that your terms of probation would be violated?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by pleading to these charges?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you have a criminal history of doing anything sexually violent or anything sexually motivated under the laws of the state, you would be civilly committed. Do you understand that too?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, how do you plead to the offense of trespass? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest, ma'am.
Has anybody forced you to say no contest?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand what no contest means?
Yes, ma'am. It's more like a guilty plea.
It means that you're neither admitting nor denying the charge. You just feel it's in your best interest to finish your case. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
you agree to those terms?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. At this time, I'm adjudicating you guilty. I'm sentencing you to time served. You're being released on this case. You owe $279. It's due by December 31st of 2021. You're not to return to the scene of the crime, and you have to abide by all trespass orders. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you.
Okay, same to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Take care.
Ma'am, tell me your name.
Brittany Shattuck.
Ms. Shanik, you're here in case this is number 2021 MM9050AO. You failed to appear for your trespass charge as well as your petty theft charge. You have a total bond of $4,000, and that is at $2,000 apiece. State, do you have an offer on this case?
Your Honor, I saw that it was set to plea on 6/1, but I could not find what the offer was.
Okay, do you want a bench offer? Defense counsel?
Yes, let me have a moment to confer with Ms. Shattuck before we suggest an offer, Your Honor.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't recall it. Is it for this afternoon? If the state is willing to address it and has their paperwork, I'll gladly do it.
I have all paperwork with me, so I'm happy to address whichever. I don't know which piece you're talking about, but. What's the last name? With a J? Oh, got it. Cool. What was that?
What's her time served on Shattuck? 2 days. Oh, I got the calculation. 1 day.
If you may, Your Honor, I did speak with Ms. Shattuck about possible repercussions of entering a plea today, and she does understand the citizenship and probationary issues, as well as the enhanceability of pleading to a petty theft. She's assured me that this will change her behavior for the better.
Okay.
So
I believe she has like 25 days in.
she told me 35. That could be very high, yes.
I would time serve it regardless. State, are you in agreement with that?
That's fine, Your Honor.
All right.
All right.
It's okay. Ma'am, do you know what guilty, no contest, and not guilty mean?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to count 1, trespass in a structure?
No contest.
And how do you plead to count 2, petty theft?
No contest.
I do want to point out, I'm also going to reserve on restitution and abundance of caution. Any objection to that, defense counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Has anybody forced you to say no contest?
No.
Ms. Shattuck, did you read the plea form and understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's preventing you from understanding what's going on right now?
No, ma'am.
And can you read, write, and understand the English language, Ms.
Yes,
Shattuck?
ma'am.
Do you understand that if you were on probation at the time you committed this offense, by entering a plea today, your probation would be violated?
Yes, I know.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by pleading to these charges?
Yes, ma'am.
Additionally, theft is an enhanceable offense. You are going to be convicted in just a few moments. If you commit a future act of theft, you will be subject to what we call an enhancement, and you can be charged with a felony regardless of the value of the items allegedly stolen. Do you understand that too?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Shattuck, at this time, I'll go ahead and sentence you. I'll adjudicate you guilty of both counts, sentence you to time served. You'll be released on these charges today.
Thank you,
As to the petty theft charge, I'll reserve on restitution for a period of 45 days. I'm also imposing a no return, no contact to the scene of the crime. Your case is over. You have 30 days to appeal.
Thank you.
I think it was 35. I was trying to. Can you call Ashley and ask her if she got that email? But I sent her another email, so. Thank you. Can you start by telling me your name, please?
Yes, my name is Eric Sadiel Guzman.
Okay, give me just a moment to check your case history. Okay, thank you. Mr. Guzman, give me just a moment. Thank you, Ashley. Okay. And thank you so much. No, did you see that email that I sent you? Let's send it back to.
Is it on there on the bottom?
It probably is. Here, I'll go ahead and write it. Just write it on here.
Okay.
I'm so sorry you have to do all this. Or else you're going to be sending it to that 617 area code or what?
I know.
Thank you, you're left. Okay. Does Mr. Guzman have an AKA that you know of?
Not that we see, Your Honor, no.
Strange. When I enter that felony case number in, it's for Sean Noel.
Okay, I'm checking right now.
I'm checking it too, because this is kind of a. Oh, no, he's defendant B. That's what I'm missing. I found it, thank you. I just didn't realize he was defendant B on this case. Mr. Guzman, do you need a public defender to help you with your violation of probation?
An attorney was assigned to my case, Christopher Cagle. So I was unsure of whether I should have.
Okay, well, I don't know why they're not here, and he or she has not filed a notice of appearance.
It could be, let me check, Your Honor, it could be our office. I'm not familiar with every. I don't see anything in our.
In an abundance of caution, I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender if you need to hire your own attorney at a later date. Will that be okay with you?
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
All right, in case number 2016 CF2950BO, there is a violation of probation. It alleges that while you are on probation for sexual battery, that you committed 2 acts of violation of Condition 15, that you violated curfew. And you'll remain at, I will go ahead and stay the bond in this case, keeping you set at no bond. Good luck to you, and your public defender can assist you. Keith Mitchell is next. Good morning. Are you Mr. Mitchell? No. Do you need a public defender to help you with your violation of probation? I'll appoint the public defenders. In case 17 CF 5785, you're here for a violation of probation for the underlying offenses of burglary as well as arson. It's alleged that while you are on probation, you failed to report to your probation officer as of April 7th that you tested positive, a violation of Condition 7, and that you were not at your residence when you were supposed to be. So you do have a total bond of $5,000. It's $2,500 for each offense, and I'll go ahead and stay those bonds. Yes. Yes? What language? Okay, I can do that. I'll just give him.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Rafael Barreras, State Certified Court Interpreter, previously sworn.
Okay, this is Judge Bigney at BRC. If you can go ahead and tell Mr. Nazario and do a sound check.
Yes, Your Honor. If you allow me just a moment, please. Your Honor, the interpreter can confirm the defendant is able to hear through the headsets.
Mr. Nazario, are you Mr. Edgar Abdel Nazario Martinez?
Yes.
Sir, you're here for 2 counts of fleeing and attempting to elude a law officer with lights and sirens activated, as well as no motorcycle license endorsement, and a resisting officer without violence. I just need a moment on this case. State, do you have, I'm asking, why do we have 2 counts of?
It could possibly be there were multiple officers.
No, I understand that. Maybe I'm missing something. So you have Officer 1. Is it just the 2 different transactions? Or is it stemming from the same All right, I'm just gonna, I'll find upon further review, I find probable cause for all of these offenses. You are entitled to bonds. State any objection to a $2,500 bond on count one?
No, Your Honor.
I'll set bond at $2,500 on count one. On count two, I'll modify that to a $150 bond. On count three, the no motorcycle license endorsement, I'll modify that to a $100 bond. As to the charge of resisting officer without violence, I find probable cause, I'll modify that bond to $100, treating it as a subsidiary. So I went over a lot of information with you. You do have bonds. Do you have any questions for me while I have the interpreter online?
No.
Okay, so your total bond is $2,850. Good luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, if the interpreter could respectfully request case numbers for this defendant, please.
Sir, these are Osceola County Court cases. It was an over-the-line arrest, so I have, can I give you agency case numbers?
Whatever you have, I guess, will help. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, 211059344.
211059344, Your Honor.
Yes.
And which agency is that, Your Honor?
Osceola.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Any other further need for the interpreter this morning?
I don't think so. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good morning.
All right, while I'm waiting for private counsel, I'm going to go ahead and do 33-day motions. I'll start off with the case number 2021 MM3150AO. Defendant's name is Anthony Quentin Reyes. I don't see that a filing decision has been made. I'll go ahead and grant that. Any objection, state?
No, Your Honor.
I have the affidavit. The next case number is 21 CF 3886AO, and that's defendant Cornell Savage. I do not see anything's been filed, so I'll grant that. Any objection, state?
No, Your Honor.
And state, you can remain at ease and have a seat. Thank you for your decorum, though. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And then the next case number is 2021 CF 5389AO. Devontia Smith. I see nothing has been filed, so I'm going to grant that one as well. State any objection?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm showing that we did file an information yesterday in this case.
Okay, it is not in the file yet. So I'm going to hold that one off. If you can just show me a copy of it, and I'll recall that case shortly. The next case is 2021 CF 5445AO, Cortez Golson. And information has been filed. So I'll deny that one. The next case is Nico Andrew Herbert. I actually want to readdress. Oh, I don't need to readdress Golson. The next one is Nico Andrew Herbert, case number 2021 CF 5340. Notice of non-filing was filed a couple days ago, so I will grant this one. State any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
And then I have Junior George, 2021 CF 3432AO. And this was filed by private attorney Jerry Jenkins. So I will go, and no charging decision has been made in that, so let me go ahead and grant that. Any objections, state?
No, Your Honor.
And then court will be at ease until we readdress Mr. Smith and Mr. Jax. Oh, mic off. Bert, I don't remember that name. Do you want me to recall it? All good with me?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you. Do you want me to call that one? I don't remember that name. I feel like I remember that one.
Yeah, Don Tavius Tremaine Smith.
I'm gonna mic off in the meantime so we can. How are the babies doing? Appearance for the record in case number 2021 CF 6894 from the state.
Lorraine DeLong with the State Attorney's Office.
All right, thank you. And for defense counsel?
Merrill Glover Gambles on behalf of Mr. Jacques.
And sir, your name, please?
My first name is Jeff, last name is Jacques.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Glover Gamble. Mr. Jocks, probable cause has been found pursuant to the arrest warrant for 7 different charges. I'll go ahead and name them. RICO, count 2, conspiracy or racketeering. And when I say RICO, I mean racketeering. So that was count 1 and 2. Count 3, trafficking in cannabis between 25 pounds or 300 plants. Count 4, second count of trafficking in cannabis. For count 5, trafficking in cannabis greater than 25 pounds or 300 plants. And count 6, trafficking in cannabis greater than 25 pounds or 300 plants, plus unlawful transport of currency. You do have a monetary bond defense. Anything I need to consider?
Just that, Your Honor, he was born and raised here in Central Florida. He, until recently, had employment here.
Do you want me to have him sworn in so you can have all that put on record from him?
Raise your hand.
Please solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Jeff Jacques.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Ms. Glover Gamble, for the interruption.
Where do you live?
I live on, right now I was staying on Millennia. I was going back there in my mom's crib. The address on file, the 1550 Cedar Lake Drive.
And does your parents live here locally?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the question. What was the question?
Does his family live here locally?
Yes, ma'am. We've been here for a very long time.
He's saying that his mother lives on Cedar Point Drive there, Your Honor. And did you attend local high school?
Yes, ma'am. High school, middle school, and elementary school.
And do you have children?
Yes, ma'am. 2 of them.
And do they live here in Orange County as well?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you have relatives or ties to some other community other than Central Florida?
I do, but like we're not close or anything.
So if the court gave you a more reasonable bond on this matter, would you agree to not leave the Orange County area
Yes, ma'am. I would not leave.
and to appear in court whenever it was required?
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing further of Mr.
Defense,
Cox.
do you have any questions for him? I mean, I'm sorry, state, rather, your witness.
Are you currently employed?
Self-employed, ma'am.
And what is your self-employment?
I have my own merch, like shirts, hats, shoes, like sandals and stuff.
Okay,
And I'm also an entertainer.
okay. And you have a good way to be in contact with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no further questions.
What's the name of the business?
Gone Crazy Entertainment.
Go ahead,
GONCRAZY Entertainment.
and where is it registered?
It's registered under my the residence that's on my ID, my mom's crib,
Registered,
under 1550 Cedar Lake Drive.
is it registered in the state of Florida?
Yes, ma'am. It's under Sunbiz. I actually did file taxes and everything this year too.
Give me just a moment. Do you have a passport?
It's currently expired.
What's the age of your children?
I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old.
And is your last name correctly spelled Jacqueus?
Yes, ma'am.
State, your paperwork says that you were born in Haiti. Is that true or?
Yes, ma'am.
And what age did you come to the US?
Probably when I was like 1 or 2 years old. I've been here since.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to need a couple of minutes to run this. State, do you have any supplemental questions for defendant?
No, Your Honor, state just wanted to make sure the funds that do post bond are verified under 903.046 subsections 2F.
Yeah, that accounts to, well, let's go ahead and answer those questions. Basically, you're asking me for a NEVI, and the 5th DCA reversed me, even though federal law still says you can do that. This isn't a federal case. What kind of bond could he afford? And what kind of bond are you seeking before? I'll give you a
Are you
moment.
speaking to me or?
I'll give you a moment to confer with your client. Because it's over
About a
yeah.
million.
It's well over $1 million that they're
Yes.
seeking in bond.
And
So I'll
the
give you a
app-
few moments to confer with your client while I research this.
Your Honor, if I may, if there's no other business for the Office of Public Defender, may be excused until second session.
Yes, Judge, you'll be with Judge Bronson. Have a good weekend. It was nice working with you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Okay, no. I was taking care of my personal stuff. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Hey, Dex, staff, I'm sorry I had to take a break.
It's all right.
You know I hate taking breaks. Throws me off. They are doing good, very well. How is your family doing? One of them?
No, she was asking what time.
Is your wife still cooking up a storm for you?
Yes, she is. She's trying to make me fat.
Trying to what?
Make me fat.
Oh, I thought you said trying to come back. I'm gonna go off mic. I just need to. I'm sorry, I'm gonna use the phone. I just don't want to get off the bench.
I just can't imagine having two teenagers at the same time. That sounds scary.
It is, well, especially when my husband does criminal defense and I've been doing this for a while, so you see like all these scenarios. So I know in the grand scheme of things, it's just down here, but it is scary. All right, thanks for the wait, State. What are we doing? Did you have a conversation with Mr. Jacks about how to proceed with, and any recommendations as far as bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
So his total bond right now, I think we're at $1,225,000.
Your Honor, he thinks that perhaps, and he would have to have the assistance of his family, his mother, his uncles, and they are working people. He would have to have their assistance in order to be able to post the bond. Because whatever he may have had, his vehicles were taken at the time of his arrest.
Okay.
Whatever jewelry he had, all those things are gone, so, or they're being held. But he thinks that perhaps his family could raise an amount in around $20,000 that they could use toward the bonds if the bonds were reduced so that the total was about $200,000, Your Honor.
My concern is also his criminal history. He doesn't have a lot of failures to appear, but he does have some criminal history. And you may not want to say anything. I am noting you're nonverbal, you're nodding, and I do have your criminal record in front of me.
Yes.
Oh, actually, let me look up something I saw. State,
No.
what's your position on monetary bond, on modification?
Your Honor, as I don't have a copy of the narrative, the 600 or 900 page narrative, I can only base this on what I have in front of me, which are the charges. State at this time would have to leave this up to the discretion of the court. And though I guess it sounds like Nebbia has been overturned.
Yeah, I can't remember the case, the citation, but.
State would have to leave it in the court's discretion at this time.
Counsel, I'm counterbalanced on his ability to pay bond versus his inability to pay court cost on the several open cases he has. I'm going to grant your request and modify the bonds in part. On count 1, I'll stay the bond at $500,000. On count 2, I'll stay the bond at $400,000. On count 3, I'll modify that bond to $75,000. On counts 4, 5, and 6, I'll modify those bonds to $10,000 apiece. On count 7, I'm also going to modify that bond to $10,000. I'm also going to impose the following conditions. I know you said your passport is expired. You
Yes,
must
ma'am.
surrender it. Even though it is expired, if you have a current one that you just can't recall at this time, that must also be surrendered. You're not to possess any weapons, nor are you to possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs, and that will include, do you have a medical card?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so based on your testimony and the terms of the release, I'm also going to arrange for through the pretrial release program, you must have random drug testing. You're not on pretrial release supervision, but you are going to them at your expense for random drug testing. Within 30 days, so starting on July 11th, you can be subject to random drug testing. Anything else state on the conditions of release?
State would ask for no contact with any co-defendants or witnesses.
I'll go ahead and grant that request, no contact with any witnesses or co-defendants.
Your Honor, I'd just like to say one thing. When you say no contact with co-defendants, he has a living girlfriend that was arrested as well. They have a child in common. So.
With the exception
if-
of his girlfriend. What's her
Right.
name?
Jordan Williams.
With the exception of Miss Wiggins, the mother of his child. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Ms. Clever Gamble.
You said Williams?
Yes.
Williams.
Jordan
I thought you
Williams.
said Williams?
Yes, it's
Jordan
just hard to
Williams.
talk from behind the mask.
I know, with the mask. All right, anything else, Ms. Clever Gamble or
Nothing
State?
further, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing.
And again, that passport must be surrendered whether it's expired or not.
Okay. We're gonna go out.
Do you have access to it, or do you know where it is?
Says his mom has it.
Yes, my mom has it.
Okay, yes, to the clerk of courts.
Okay, so if he's able to come up with, she's able to come up with bond money, I'll ask her to bring that passport.
Yes, that only makes sense. If they can come up with the bond money, then bring it. If you can't come up with the bond money, where?
Okay.
Morning session is adjourned.
Okay, good afternoon. The first case is that of Keith Edward Whitmore. Keith Edward Whitmore. And the next one is Rodney Stephen Windsor. All right, good afternoon, Mr. Whitmore.
Your Honor, can we put our names on the record? May we put our names on the record, Your Honor?
Sure, go ahead.
Lorraine DeLong for the State Attorney's Office.
Tyler Brands on behalf of the Office of Public Defender.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Whitmore, you're here today and you're charged with violation of your conditional release. And you're arrested on a warrant and it's alleged that you failed to keep an appointment that was scheduled for you on April 29th. And so the charge is violation of your conditional release. I think he's on bond on this. Okay, and you also have a charge of possession of amphetamines, methamphetamines, and it appears that you're released. You made bond on that charge. And so,
Yes, sir.
okay, that's it.
So you're taking no action on the item?
All right, thank you.
You set a bond?
All right, so you're all right. Okay, Rodney Stephen Windsor. All right, good afternoon, sir. Mr. Windsor, you've been held on charge of possession of methamphetamines, but it appears that you bonded on that charge. And you also have the charge of dealing in stolen property. A warrant was issued on the dealing in stolen property charge. The bond is $2,000.
I'm sorry, it's interrupted. They probably- Then you have to scan. You wanna move it over here so I can scan for you?
Yeah.
That way, because you gotta scan in between each case.
Okay, just show me, just put it up there. I gotta scan this between every case?
Yes.
Oh.
That's how they know you moved on to the next case. Try to-
Okay. And, all right, so again, you bonded on the charge of possession of methamphetamines, and you have a new charge of dealing in stolen property, and the bond on dealing stolen property is $2,000, and the court will leave the bond status as it is, no further action, all right? And PD is appointed. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Windsor. Okay, how do I know if it? Okay.
Madam Clerk, were we appointed in 2020 CF 14127, the, all right, thank you very much.
Okay, the next case is that of Tiffany Earhart, is that? All right, thank you.
There you go.
Next I have is DuBois Maurice Ancrum. Is that you, sir? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, so you're here today and you've been charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor and possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver. And it appears that you bonded on the charge of possession of a controlled substance, possession of a concealed firearm by a convicted felon, and possession of cocaine.
Those bullets, Your Honor, last charge. They were
I didn't really ask you anything about what
Yes, sir.
what they were.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things you need to understand is that a representative from the state's attorney's office is in the courtroom today, and in his statements that you make here today could be used against you in court. All right, so your previous bond of $4,300 will be revoked. We'll set a new bond on the charges at $7,000. Okay.
Which case is that?
This is the this one, possession of, he's bonded on this.
Okay, 3401.
All right. And raise it to $7,500. One, two, three counts, and let's make it 5,000 on the first one, and make it 1,500 on the second, and 1,000 on the last one. I'll just leave that one as it is. Yes. Thank you. Okay.
Underneath this sheet.
And we're talking about the agency case number?
No, the court case number.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, next case is that of Charles Xavier Anderson.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, did you take any action on the 3418 case?
No action. Okay, and this is court case number 2021 CF 6884.
There you go.
All right, Mr. Anderson, you're charged in a 2-count arrest affidavit with committing crime of battery on a law enforcement officer, and count 2 is resisting an officer with violence. The bond on count 1 is $5,000. The bond on count 2 is $2,000, and the court will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. $7,000. Thank you, sir. Raymond Lee Andrews. Good afternoon, Mr. Andrews. You're here in case 2021 CF 6845. You're charged with 1 count of criminal mischief, and it appears that you're on bond for offensive battery and also criminal mischief. The court will appoint the public defender's office and will not change his bond situation. No. All right, thank you. That's correct.
The bond amount on the current charge, Your Honor, stating it on the affidavit?
Yeah, the bond on the current case is set at 1,000. We'll leave it there. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Edward Paul Bergman. Okay, Mr. Bergman, you're here in case 2021 CF 6885. You're charged with grand theft of a motor vehicle. The bond on that charge is $1,000. There's a second charge of possession of fentanyl. That bond is $150. The third charge is possession of drug paraphernalia, and the bond is $100. All right, hold on just a minute. These 2, 3, 4. Okay, you also have 4 out-of-county cases. The first one is 21 CF 1577. That's an out-of-county warrant for grand theft. Then there's case 2021 CF 1114. That charge is fraud, and the bond is there's no bond, and the second charge is larceny, and there's also no bond on that one. Then
I'm sorry, Your Honor, what case are you referring to?
it's 2021 CF 1114.
For Alachua County? It shows that he has a blanket bond to cover both counts for $75,000.
referring to 1114. Okay, here.
Okay, so this is the first one. The bond set it at 2,000.
Right.
So this is Marion County. So that one's 2,000.
Okay, so Marion County, the bond is 2,000. Okay. And Alachua County, I'm not showing any bond.
It should be missing. With their cases, you have to look at the, sorry, the cover type. Because that cover sheet is not always right. It says bond set at 70,000.
Okay, stand corrected. On the Alachua County cases, the bond is set at 7,500. $75,000, stand corrected. And you have 2021 CF 16,024. It's also an out-of-county warrant from Brevard County. And the charge is grand theft, and the bond is 4,000. In this case, 21,912. This is from Osceola County. The charge is grand theft, and the bond is 1,500. So the court will appoint the public defender's office to represent you on all of your cases, sir. Thank you. Okay, next up is Wilfredo Betancourt. Good afternoon, sir. All right, Mr. Betancourt, you're here on a charge of fleeing and attempting to elude a law enforcement officer, and so the charge, I think you were, I changed. All right, so you were arrested on a warrant and no bond has been authorized on the warrant. And so if you want a bond to be set, you'll need to contact the public defender's office, and the court will appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and your case will need to be set for a bond hearing in front of the judge who issued that arrest warrant. All right, thank you. All right, are you Sirius Dantelis Brown?
Cyrus Dantelis Brown, yes, sir.
Okay, good afternoon. Mr. Brown, you're here on 5 separate charges. Count 1 is carrying concealed firearm. Count 2 is possession of cocaine. Count 3, the charge is possession of cocaine with a weapon. Count 4 is possession of cannabis, less than 20 grams. And the last count is resisting an officer without violence. The charge on the bond on count 1 is 1,000. It's 1,000 on count 2. is $15,000 on the possession of cocaine with a weapon, $500 on the two remaining counts. All right, so your bond is approximately $18,000. The court will appoint the public defender's office in your case. Thank you.
Your Honor.
Yes. You might not want to talk to the court.
Your Honor, our client's requesting a bond reduction, especially that $15,000 on count 3. It would be unattainable with his current employment status.
I'm sorry?
His current employment status would make that count 3 of $15,000 bond unattainable. If you, for your consideration, could issue a lower bond.
All right, does the state wish to be heard on the issue of a bond reduction as to count 3?
Your Honor, state would leave the amount in the court's discretion, but the state would ask for that the defendant surrender any weapons or firearms to the sheriff's office upon release, and no drugs as well.
All right, so the court will reduce the bond on count 3 to $7,500. Also impose special condition that you surrender any firearms and that you not commit any further law violations while you're on bond in these cases. All right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Can't do this. All right, thank you. Next is Tyrone Brown. Good afternoon, Mr. Brown.
Well, sir, how's your day going?
Okay. All right, you're here, sir, in case 21. 2021 CF 6898. You're charged with a racketeering violation in count 1. Count 2, the charge is conspiracy to commit racketeering. Your bond on count 1 is $500,000. The bond on count 2 is $100,000. So your total bond is $600,000. And the court will appoint the public defender's office to represent you on these 2 charges. All right.
The state would ask for a few conditions of release based on one of the co-defendants.
Yeah.
Sorry, Your Honor, there's a bit of confusion. Mary Salmon, I'm with the Office of Statewide Prosecution. This is a statewide case. My understanding that the state may have handled some of the co-defendants in this case previously. So the state would also be asking for previous conditions that have been applied to the co-defendants in the case, and that would be no contact with co-defendants, surrender passport, no weapons, no drugs, and no contact with any other witnesses as well, as conditions of bond.
Any objections to those conditions?
No, Your Honor, I would like you to, if you could, repeat the bond amounts. Are you staying the bond amounts as they were listed in the arrest affidavit at $500,000 and $100,000? If so, we would request a lower bond amount. Our client is only employed part-time. Income is an issue, and an unattainable bond amount is equal to no bond at all. And he is entitled to a reasonable attainable bond amount.
All right, state wish to be heard.
Your Honor, the state would just ask that Your Honor stay the bonds. This is a serious investigation, a serious charges that stem from an investigation that occurred over several months. There was a wiretap investigation, and the predicate acts of the RICO are drug trafficking charges. And so at this time, the state would ask that Your Honor stay the bonds.
If I may, Your Honor, if you do stay the bonds at the amount, would you take no action on the out on bond case as well? Because the bond amounts are so high, I believe our client understands the severity of these charges, and I don't know if revoking a bond would do any more good as he already faces the serious charges presented today.
All right, the court will stay the bond, and I will also impose the additional special conditions that were ordered in the cases of the co-defendants, that he not have any contact with the witnesses or the co-defendants, that he not commit any further law violations, that he not be in possession of any drugs, and the court will stay the bond on the previous case. I don't know. After he's released. All right, so you'll have to surrender the passport once you're released, once you gain your release. Okay, is the state requesting before or after the passport surrendering?
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
All right, are you requesting that this co-defendant surrender his passport before he's released or after his release?
Before his release, Your Honor.
Sir, I don't have a passport.
All right. All right, thank you. No action on the out of bond case.
And Your Honor, there was no action on 21-5543-AO out on bond
That's
case?
the existing case, there was no action.
All
Correct.
right, thank you, Your Honor.
How about Jordan Williams? Okay, good afternoon, ma'am. You're hearing case 2021 CF 6896. You charged as a co-defendant with Mr. Brown with committing a RICO violation in count 1. Count 2 is conspiracy to commit a RICO violation, and count 3 you're charged with unlawful transportation of currency. Your bond on count 1 is $500,000, and on count 2 is $100,000. Count 3, the bond is $50,000. Total bond is $650,000, and so assume that conflict counsel has to be appointed to represent Ms. Williams. Is that correct?
Presumably, Your Honor, but as I represent her now at first appearance, I would again make the same argument as it did for the co-defendant before. The monetary amount may be unattainable for Ms. Williams. She's only been employed part-time for a month, and you can also consider her slim criminal history, none to speak of actually, out of state or in Florida. And she also does qualify for PTR, which would oversee her and make sure that there are no drugs and alcohol, if so ordered, in your consideration, of course, Your Honor.
All right, state wish to be heard.
Your Honor, the state would just ask that Your Honor stay the bonds at this time. Again, this is a very serious charges that have stemmed from a lengthy wiretap investigation, and the basis of those predicate acts making up the RICO violation would be drug trafficking charges as well. And then in addition to The bonds, the state would also ask that Your Honor add as conditions to surrender a passport if the defendant has one, no weapons, no drugs, and no contact with co-defendants or other witnesses in the case.
Given the lack of criminal history, Your Honor, compared to the other co-defendants, I think even a very high bond of $150,000 would be able to guarantee her appearance in court. I don't see why a $650,000 bond for someone who's working part-time for a month and no criminal history. Yes, the charges are current, but the unattainability for our client may violate the fundamental fairness.
The court will deny the request to reduce the bond and leave it as it is and impose the special conditions that are being required of the co-defendants, that passport be surrendered prior to bonds, possess no weapons, surrender weapons, possess no drugs, no contact with co-defendants or any witnesses. All right, no.
And Your Honor, I'm sorry, just one more thing. It's my understanding that this defendant has a child in common with another co-defendant, and the state would have no problem with communication with regards to the small child that they have in common, but only with regards to that, nothing about the case or the facts of the case.
Okay, the court will order that special condition as well.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. Earlier, didn't we? Okay. Yeah, we called him earlier. Next up I have is Brandon Matthew Bryant. What do you do? Do you bring him back on a different day, or you just tell?
If appointed, Your Honor, I would waive Mr. Bryant's appearance, just have you set bond.
Okay, Brandon Bryant. All right, so Brandon Bryant is on case 2021-6702, and he's charged with aggravated assault, and his bond is $2,500. And we'll note for the record that he refused to come today. The court is appointed the public defender's office to represent Mr. Bryant, and we'll note that counsel is waiving Mr. Bryant's appearance today. All right, thank you, counsel. Next up is Javante Lamont Davis. All right, good afternoon, Mr. Davis.
Good afternoon, sir.
You're here in case 2021 CF 6529. Again, it's 2021 CF 6529. You're charged with 11 different charges. Count one of the charges, attempted first-degree murder with a firearm. The charge in count two is the same, attempted first-degree murder with a firearm. Count three, the charge is the same, attempted first-degree murder with a firearm. Count four, the charge is attempted first-degree murder with a firearm. Count five is attempted felony murder with a firearm. Count six is conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Count seven is committing bodily injury by another doing a felony. Count eight, you're charged with principal in the first degree. And charge being attempted first-degree murder, attempted murder. You're charged as a principal. Count 9 is shooting, throwing into an occupied vehicle. Count 10 is possession of firearm by a convicted felon. And the last count is aggravated child abuse with a firearm. Okay, no bond has been set on either of the charges that you have. And you also have a carrying a concealed firearm charge that you're on bond. And for the record, that's case 21 CF 6529. The court will revoke the bond in that case and set the bond at $7,500. So the new bond on the carrying a concealed firearm is $7,500, and the court will appoint the public defender's office to represent you on the new charges as well. So you'll need to schedule your case for a bond hearing before you can get a bond. Thank you.
Your Honor, is he entitled to a full evidentiary Arthur hearing downtown, as it's a punishable by life charge?
Are you requesting?
Well, I know he's guaranteed one, but have you found, I'm not asking you to find proof evident presumption great, but just so
I'm
that
sorry?
just so the client knows that he gets a full evidentiary hearing downtown with his attorney, if we're appointed, his attorney will know everything and be able to do a full evidentiary hearing on the charges downtown.
All right, so he is charged with, he has the right to have an evidentiary hearing on the charges. And the state is aware of that, and I don't know who, I assume that the state has the responsibility for arranging that, but he is entitled to a hearing where the state is required to establish that the proof of guilt is evident and that the presumption is great. All right, thank you.
And Your Honor, were you taking any action on his out on bond case 8217, the grand theft one?
Your Honor, since he's being held until that hearing anyway, I would have you take no action on that. Those out on
I'll leave the bond on the grand theft as it is, no change. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, next case is Jose Flores Sevilla. Jose Flores Sevilla. Mr. Flores Sevilla, you're hearing case 2021 CF 4962. Charged with robbery by setting snatching, and your bond is $1,000. And the court will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. $1,000 bond, sir. Thank you.
That's it? That's it, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
I got
Your Honor.
the $100 to get out.
Your Honor, do you have another case from Lake County?
I have one question about that. When I got released, hold on, what do you ask? Oh, yeah, when I got released.
Okay, Mr. Flores Sevilla, okay, you're correct, Mr. Flores Sevilla. You have a warrant from Lake County. It appears to be a violation of probation charge and a grand theft. That was the original charge, and no bond has been authorized for you on the Lake County charge, and so you'll have to be taken back to Lake County to get that resolved.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Okay, you want to reset him or just appoint the public defender's office?
I would have you reset, Your Honor. until-
Okay, all right, let's reset him. He's charged with a murder charge. It'll have to be reset, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mental health. Next is Danielle Iman Gordon. And this is case 2021-6868. Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Gordon. You're here on a charge of grand theft of a motor vehicle, and your bond is $5,000. And the court will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond is $5,000. Thank you, sir. Merrick Dwayne Harrison is next. All right. All right, this is case 2021 CF 2031. Okay, Mr. Harrison, you're here charged with fleeing and attempting to elude law enforcement officers with sirens and lights. And so the charge is fleeing, and you were arrested on a warrant, and the judge who issued the warrant has not authorized any bond. And so in order to obtain a bond in your case, you need to have your case scheduled for hearing in front of Judge Beamer. Judge Beamer. All right, thank you.
I don't get how I can't get a bond if I ain't even
Okay.
I don't even got like no criminal history.
I don't mean to give you a hard time about this, but judges who issue warrants in their cases and set the bond at none have asked the judges handling first appearances, as I'm doing today, to not change the bond.
So how
They want the discretion to set a bond. I explained it to you.
No,
Judge Beamer issued the warrant. She's the one who can set a bond. I will not set a bond.
How long you think it take until I can get a bond, sir? Because I got kids and
I've explained it to you. Next case is Elijah Holstery, 2021-2396.
He bonded, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. He bonded. Next up is Jose Antonio Marti. Mr. Marti, you've been arrested and you're charged with 6 offenses. So, again, for the record, this is case 2021-6867. There are three charges: burglary of a structure, grand theft, third degree, and criminal mischief. The bond is $3,500 as to count one, $150 as to count two, $150 as to count three. Again, the charges are burglary, grand theft, and criminal mischief. All right, the court will appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your cases. Thank you. Good afternoon. Are you Jaquarius McCray? Yes, sir. Okay, good afternoon, sir. Okay, Mr. McCray, you've been arrested on a warrant. And the charges are second-degree murder, count two. The charge is attempted felony murder. Count three is shooting or throwing into an occupied vehicle. No bond has been authorized for your other three charges. The court will appoint the public defender's office to represent you.
Your Honor, he is guaranteed a full evidentiary Arthur hearing downtown.
Okay, I stand corrected on the third count, shooting, throwing into occupied vehicle. There's a $2,500 bond. There's no bond on the first two counts. And court notes that he's entitled to an evidentiary hearing if he chooses to have one. Okay, Mr. McCray also had special conditions of no contact. Okay, Mr. McCray, I forgot to inform you of some special conditions in your case. If you make bond, the court is in an order that you not have any contact with the victims or the co-defendants. In this case, that you not return to the scene where this crime allegedly occurred. You're not to possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or controlled substance. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. All right, those are special conditions that have been applied against the co-defendants, and they're being applied in your case as well. Thank you, Mr. McCray. Elijah Ahmad Millsap. Is that you, sir?
Sir.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Millsap.
Afternoon.
All right, Mr. Millsap, you're here in case 2021 CF 6880. All right, so you have a new charge of possession of a controlled substance without having a prescription. And it appears that you're on bond on a burglary charge, and the court will stay the bond and the case that you're already on bond in. So the court will also appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Anthony Mosley. Good afternoon, Mr. Mosley. You're arrested on a warrant. It appears that you failed to appear on a possession of cocaine charge. The bond in your case is $500. $500, sir. The public defender's office is being appointed in your case, sir. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Madam Clerk. On the previous defendant, Millsap, was action taken on the add-on bond?
No.
Thank you.
Christopher Isaiah Ortiz. Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Ortiz, you're hearing case 2021-6874, charged with possession of cocaine. Bond on that charge is $1,000. Count two, the charge is possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver. The bond is $150. And so the court will appoint the public defender's office to represent you on these charges. All right. Thank you, sir. All right, are you Genesis Pina?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Pina, you're here today, and this is case 2020-13,423. You were arrested on a warrant for failure to appear on a charge of a grand theft of a motor vehicle charge and also grand theft of a firearm. And okay, and no bond has been authorized because it's a warrant arrest and you failed to appear on that. The court will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. The counsel wish to be heard.
No, Your Honor. I was just taking a few moments to speak with our client. Thank you.
All right, so the public defender's office is being appointed in your case. Okay, Yakisha Elizabeth Pfeiffer. All right, good afternoon, ma'am. You're here today on two charges: possession of methamphetamines and possession of fentanyl. The bond is $1,000 on the first charge, $150 on the second charge, and I believe the court appointed the public defender's office to represent the co-defendant, Ed Berman. So conflict counsel will have to be appointed to represent Ms. Pfeiffer. All right, thank you, ma'am. Our next up is Robert Shaw Ray. Good afternoon, Mr. Ray. You've been held on a charge of grand theft of a motor vehicle, and your bond is $1,000. The court will appoint the public defender's office in your case. $1,000, sir. Thank you. Next up is Barry Bernard Reed. Okay, Mr. Reed, you're here today on the charge of aggravated child abuse. No bond has been authorized for you. You're arrested on a warrant. No bond has been authorized. The court will appoint the public defender's office in your case. Again, no bond, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Next up is Tarisha Rhymes. Good afternoon, Ms. Rhymes.
Good afternoon.
Ms. Rhymes, you're here in case 2020 CF 14,360, and you're arrested on a warrant for failing to appear on possession of a controlled substance, and no bond has been authorized for you because of the failure to appear. The public defender's office is being appointed in your case. Thank you. Tyrone J. Riley. Good afternoon. Is that you, sir?
Sure.
Okay, Mr. Riley. In the first case, 2021-6871, you're charged with grand theft of a motor vehicle, and your bond on that charge is set at $1,000. Okay, and you're also being held on charges in case 2021-6872. And count one of that case, you're charged with possession of cocaine. Count two, you're charged with possession of methamphetamines. And count three, the charge is possession of drug paraphernalia. Bond on count one is $1,000, $150 on count two, $100 on count 3. Total bond is $1,250. The court is appointing the public defender's office to represent you. The public defender's office is being appointed to represent you in all cases. Thank you, sir. Okay,
If appointed, Your Honor, we'll waive Mr. Torres' appearance.
okay, so the court is appointing the public defender's office to represent Jonathan Torres. And this is case 2021-6876. And Mr. Torres is not brought today because of behavior problems, and the public defender's office is waiving his appearance on the charges of possession of cannabis with intent to sell to deliver, possession of hydrocodone, and possession of drug paraphernalia. All right, thank you.
Did you set bond amounts, Your Honor? Or are you stating them as they were?
Bond is stayed. And it's 1,000 on counts 1 and 2, 500 on count 3. So the bond amounts are stayed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so we'll have to reset. Ms. Washington.
Your Honor, may I approach on this case?
Yeah. Hey, counsel. No, I was just returning your paperwork. Thank you. Okay, just so for the record, as to Tawana Washington, she's apparently not appearing today because she's being treated in the hospital, and the court will take no action on the case that she's on bond in. And for the record, this is case 2019 CF 154 The court will take no action on that case.
We waive for appearance as well, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, and so we'll reappoint the public defender's office. Yes, let's stay the bond in all cases. Okay, next up is Ryan Joseph Webb. Good afternoon, sir. All right, Mr. Webb, you're here on one charge of grand theft of a motor vehicle, and your bond has been set at $5,000 on that charge, and the court will appoint the public defender's office in your case. $5,000. Thank you, sir. Next is Tony Anthony Wright. Okay, Mr. Wright, it appears that you're here in case 2021 CF 6842, and you're charged with driving while your license has been suspended or revoked. And it also appears that you have an out-of-county warrant, and the bond on the out-of-county warrant is $2,000. And that appeared to be related to a driving while your license is suspended. So you got an out-of-county warrant, and I believe that's Columbia County, and the bond is $2,000 on the Columbia County charge, and the bond in this case is $5,000. So your total bond is $7,000. The court will appoint the public defender's office to represent you in this case. All right, thank you. Thank you, sir. All right, sir, are you Wendell Wright?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Wright, you're here today on the charge of being in possession of cocaine, and your bond is $1,000. $1,000 bond, sir. Thank you. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you, Mr. Wright. Thank you. Out of paperwork. Okay, the court has, it's all this one thing.
Your Honor, the 33-day motion was brought up this morning in 21 CF 5389. And the state would be asking that the 33-day motion be denied due to the fact that our office did file an information which we provided a copy to the court.
All right, so the court does have a 2-count information which has been filed against Don Travius Tremaine Smith, also known as Don Travius Smith. He's charged with trespass on property other than a structure or conveyance. And count 2 of the charges, petty theft. They're both misdemeanors. And so the motion for release is denied based upon the information having been filed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, anything else from the defense or the state?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.